While many planes remain grounded, another type of aircraft could soon be taking to the skies: pandemic drones. As more people get tired of lockdown restrictions, it might be increasingly difficult to police social distancing, as we saw over the weekend in some places here in the United States. One company's answer is a COVID tracking drone. They can detect fever, coughing, breathing rate, heart rate and blood pressure, all from a distance of 60 meters. Cameron Chell is the CEO of Dragonfly, the company behind the drones. Cameron, great to have you on the show. Wow is all I can say. These drones are pretty impressive. Talk us through this.
Sure. Well, Dragonfly is the oldest operating commercial drone manufacturer in the world. We're a public company. We trade here in the United States under the symbol DFLYF, and we have a history in public safety. In fact, in 2013, a Dragonfly drone was the first drone to save a human life, and today that drone sits in the Smithsonian Center. We are really focused on being able to provide the correct data so our public officials are in a spot to be able to determine if things like social distancing, mask wearing, and such are actually working. The big challenge that they have right now is that we are working with data that is all after the fact. We don't really know where and how we can open the economies. And this type of technology, both on cameras and on drones, can help us have that data.
What would happen, though, if it detected people with high temperatures or people weren't being socially distant? Does the drone itself have the capability to make a noise, for example, and tell people to separate? Or does it just feed the data back to whoever's watching that then can go to that place and say, spread out or isolate people?
Yes, I think it's really important to understand that this technology and the software underneath it, it recognizes patterns, not people. This is not designed or built for profiling. Originally, this technology was designed to hang from the bottom of helicopters and fly over disaster relief zones to be able to pick up the vital signs of survivors and then determine where's the most important place to place those resources. So it really isn't practical, even if it could profile somebody, to then say, oh, let's put out a police cruiser and go get this person for secondary screening. The idea here is to be able to provide population health measurement, a way to help ensure that the decisions we make are protecting our frontline workers, our public in general, and to reopen the economy.
Is that going to be the biggest battle you face here, Cameron? Because I know you were testing it in Connecticut, and I looked at some of the comments from the American Civil Liberties Union of Connecticut. They said, look, it's an example of privacy-invading companies using COVID-19 as a chance to market their products. As much as you say, look, this is about trying to collect data, understanding what's happening real time, there are those that say this is just a tool to spy.
I think there's a couple things to consider. First of all, I think that they made some of those comments without having all the information.
Right.
That said, it's incredibly important to respect the wishes of the public, and I think the Westport Police did an excellent job on quickly moving away from the program because of their public concerns. Their first and foremost concern was to protect their public, and their decision not to proceed was also part of that. However, if we look at the reality in the private world, for example, where people are looking to reopen theme parks or reopen convention centers or workplace safety, those types of organizations want to build consumer confidence so that people will come back to their facilities. And I don't know about you, but if I'm going to make a decision to go to a theme park this coming weekend with my family, I want to know that the health measurement is in place there. I want to know what are the infectious rates happening, or I'm not going to go back to that place. So the reality is this technology is coming.
Yeah, I'm on board with this. I have stringent beliefs about the need for privacy, but where safety is concerned, then I think the lines get blurred. So I'm with you on this, to be honest. Talk to me about the conversations that you're having with regulators, because in the end, it will be a governmental decision, I think, to apply this kind of technology and to justify that it's for safety, not for anything else, snooping, for example. Talk to me about those conversations.
Yeah, sure. The great part about this is the privacy framework for this is already in place.
Right.
There's really two types of areas to think about here. There's public safety, and then there's private public safety. So in the case of public safety, where you might be over public areas, the only thing that's being collected is anonymized data about health population. So over this geographic location, which might be a beach, for example, between the hours of 2 in the afternoon and 3 in the afternoon, there were 450 people, and 0.021% demonstrated signs of potential infectious or respiratory disease, and 23% of them were practicing social distancing at this rate and these hours. And that's all the data that allows public officials to then start making either policy decisions or putting different public awareness campaigns out to help protect all of us. Now, in the case of consumer or workplace safety in the private area, that all can require and does require consent. So if I'm going to walk into a basketball game or a theme park or my place of work where the employer or the private enterprise has concern to protect its workers or to ensure that people coming in there aren't going to spread infection, then I may have an initial screening, which we've already seen. We've seen dozens of companies now, thermal cameras. Disney has said they're going to check temperatures coming in. What this allows is for this to happen in an unintrusive way, and then say, hey, that person, if they want to come in, if they're displaying these conditions, can go for secondary screening. But again, that's all 1% consent. And again, so there's a framework for this to happen. This is just an appropriate solution of technology and safety for all of us.
In the absence of testing, welcome to the future, quite frankly, and it's needed. Cameron Chell, stay in touch with us, please, sir, and stay safe. It's going to be fascinating to watch progress. The CEO there of Dragonfly. Thank you for that. All right, up next, mission accomplished. One of the